Welcome back everyone to CAD 216, and we're just going to continue working on our house. Last week we worked on elevations, and this week we're going to put in some section views on this thing, and very simple to do. First thing I want to do is go to my first floor, and inside here I want to put me a section view all the way across this thing. And you come up here, and there's different ways you can go to view and get to it, section view, or come up here to this little quick toolbar up here. And all I want to do is just about right through this little section here. I'll put me a cross section. That way I can actually see. This is going to be going all the way through this thing. We'll put longitudinal. Now this one should be, we're going to flip this around where we're looking back the other way. There we go. I'll move my little elevations back over here and just get them out of the way for the time being. Put my little arrows back up there. It's perfect. And this one right here, you'll notice it populated it when it brought it in here. Sections. And I want to click on it, right click, rename. So just right click it, rename it, and I'm going to put longitudinal. Okay. So we know what it is. Now, if you'll double click that or double click this, either one, it'll take you in there and show you the section of the house. Pretty cool, isn't it? Pretty cool. And what you're seeing here, you all see all that, that's your sheetrock that it's showing. Alright, let's go back to that first floor again. And if you click on it, and this is going all the way through, and that's what I want. If you cut back, it only lets you go so far to that point right there, and it'd stop. But you want to go through the whole entire house. There we are. Then what you do another one, so go up here and hit your section view again. And you're going to put this one coming through the stairs here. Eyeball that, put that down there. I want to flip it back that way. And we'll actually put that, and if you'll notice now, there should be another section view that has been added. Section 1, right click, and we'll rename that one, and I'll just do cross section. I think the book says cross section 1. Okay, there we have it. And if you double click that, take a look at it, you can see, now you can see your stairs. Isn't that pretty cool? Looking at your cross section of your stairs. Now, in this, we're starting to see a few things come together that might need some work down the road. Y'all see that our walls are going way past. They're going into our floors, and we can go ahead and start fixing some of this stuff too, because you don't want that to the bottom of this. So there's a lot of stuff we need to, you can actually fix while we're in here. And let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do that. Foundation, this is our floor, and you'll notice something. When you do the cross sections, the line weight is real heavy right now, and that's because we're using a 1/4 inch equals 1 foot scale, and there's some other things we can do. If I change it to 3/4, you see now what happens. Kind of cleans up a little bit, makes it a little easier to work with. And then you can also come down here and hit fine, and we can be able to see just a little bit better. Now this would be accurate up here. You see how this wall is? This is the hardwood flooring between here and here, and this is your basic floor material. And that's what your stud would be setting on. But now this one is way too tall, and we'll have to adjust on that after I make sure I got the floors in exactly the right height. That's going to be a major thing, is make sure my flooring is in correctly. So this one looks perfect up here to me. So with that said, I'm going to go back in here to the first floor, and I need to fix those walls. And again, I want to go back in here and make sure when I look in here, there's that one. And we'll see how tall I need to make those. Let's do cross section 1. It needs to actually be coming up to the bottom to right here. So what I want to do at this point is, I know this is 0, and I want to do an annotate, and I'll do an align measurement. From that point down to my first floor is 7'10". Okay, 7'10" on my first floor. So all of these walls here, I can click on all of them. Hold my control button down as I do it, and I accidentally caught the wrong thing there, and that's okay if you do. Catch all my walls and make them a 7'10" height. Interior walls, and base and top constraint is, I'll just leave it unconnected and do a 7'10". 7'10", and apply. Let's see if it changed it to 7'10". Now let's go back into that. And it adjusted them in. Do you all see that? It's perfect. So go through there and do that with all of yours. And this one looks like it's going to be okay up here. The basement, it looks like the same issue. So when I annotate again, I hit alignment, and we'll come right off the bottom of that. And we might have to adjust on that here in just a few minutes as well. Click on that. That's 7'4". So if I go back up here into my basement, I can click on all my walls, interior walls. And sometimes it's hard to catch all of them just right. I'll leave this one alone for now. And I want to come over here, unconnect it, 7'4", apply. And now when I come back in here to my section view, I'll have it. That look a little bit better. So there's a few things that you can do just to make sure that you get things right, and you can use these section views to be able to help you in your design work. So we've got that taken care of right now. We're doing great, and we'll move right along. Now, okay, so I'll go back to my cross-section space here, and I want to do I know the book wants us to do a couple sections, and we've got to get to that on doing some typical wall sections, and we need to add them in, definitely. Also, in our basement, we've got to do some work, not our basement, but our garage. We need to do a few little odds and ends on that as well. So we can actually start here, and we can put what's called, if you go to view, we're going to do what's called a call out. Okay? And I want to hit rectangle, and right here I want to put myself a call out. Okay? I'll bring this one to this side, and if you'll notice, you've got a longitudinal call out 1, and I'll right click it and rename it, and let's see what the book wants us to name that call out. Just making sure that we've got this set exactly to what they want. And this one is going to be garage wall section, is exactly what the book wants you to name this one. Wall section. And if you double click that, it'll bring you in there to itself. And we need to go ahead and zoom in on that just a fuzz. It'll take us just a minute to do that. And we'll do maybe a 3/4 inch equals 1 foot. And make sure it's on fine, and you can go in here and start looking at it. And here is the concrete. This is the foundation wall. It's going all the way up here and touching. It's perfect. It's going all the way up here and touching the wall studs. Now this concrete would probably have been poured at the same time, so it'd be like a slab foundation type of concrete. So what I want to do is modify, and I want to hit join right here. Join. See if I can join that and that. Y'all see how that smoothed that in together? And underneath this right here was sand, if you guys remember that. So we'll keep that in there. Everything's looking really good. There's the roof line. And as far as that goes, that's what we need, all we need at this time. Now you can also check mark and put these elevations on the other side, which would probably in this case be the best if you do that. Okay. Now let's go in and let's put on the longitudinal section, it might be a cross section. We're going to put us another call out, a typical wall section on this, and we'll do it on this side. So again, just go up here to view, do a call out, and we'll grab this whole thing and bring it down into here. Perfect, just like that. And you'll notice over here the longitudinal call out. We'll rename this one, and we'll do this typical, this will be a typical wall section. Typical wall section of the house. I'm not sure what it wants you in the book, what you want it to call it, but I just like the typical wall section. Would be fine. So we got to do some stuff here. When I go into that typical wall section, and here's the basement, there is some stuff that I need to get in here, and we need to get figured out. And number one, the first thing that I notice is down here at the bottom, that should be 1.5 inches in between the floor and this. That way you can put a seal plate in. So annotate a line, check that out real quick. It's only 1 inch, it needs to be 1/2 inch larger. So this is 1'4.5" is what we need to change the foundation to. Let's just see what that happens according to the book. That's going to leave it 2.5. That's way too much. Now I see what they're doing. They're actually bringing their floor down all the way down here, and they're actually setting their floor, the wall studs on top of the finished hardwood. You don't do that. You're going to put the wall studs down on your flooring. You're not going to put your wall studs on top of your hardwood oak floor. So what I want you to do, now you can follow the book, that's fine, I won't knock any points, but what I want you to do is this distance here should be 1.5. But we're going to move this thing up 3 right there, and that's exactly what I want. 1.5 inch gap right there. It's perfect. And you can edit this and bring that wall down. I'll bring that back up. Edit the type. Make sure you're in this wall section. We'll come in. And of course we've got to edit it. Modify, and then when you come over here you can unlock things. Like, see how it's got a lock on it? You can unlock these things, and that way that you can drag them down. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. You can see how now you can grab those and pull those down. And what I want to say on this one, we could go in there and back this one off just a little bit. Edit the boundary on this, and we can move that to where this is coming all the way down on the sides. Again, hit it again, and that should be sitting right there on that section of that wall. That would be this wall. So let's go around and we'll fix all of them. We'll bring them all in 1 3/8 inches. Right there. It's no big deal. I mean, we can get it. We can do that. And this is what the book is wanting us to do. Make sure it's 1 3/8 inches. Yeah. That looks good. I think we're fine. So hit check mark on that, and I'm just going to hit no on all those, okay? So when I come back in here now and look at cross section 1. You see how that now brought that back? And I can click on this and I can bring this down all the way to there. Y'all see that? So this right here is our wall stud, and then right here is our siding. That's coming all the way down and protecting our materials, okay? So that gets all that in there, and I want to make sure while I'm in here that I hit a line, and that's it, perfect. It's all looking good. So on this cross section, that's looking great, and I make sure I hit my cross section 1. I just want it to be in that, my typical wall section. That looks better. So I brought that all the way in. That looks fantastic. Now we're ready to start detailing this thing and putting in to actual cross-section patterns and components that will identify, and also put our annotations in there to show what the materials are for the contractor. So we're going to do that in our next video. So hang with us.